You're a loser.
Wow.
How am I supposed to be with you when I got these men all the time in my DMs offering me luxury cruises, mansions, all this different stuff, and then I come home to you playing video games in your underwear.
It was good when we first started dating.
That's 7 years ago. I've grown as a person, and you haven't. I've outgrown you.
Are you sure?
Okay, I got a question. What kind of man is willing to spend the kind of money for a luxury cruise on a woman like this? She's about one cupcake binge away from being an official bridge troll. Yes, if you have the money, you can spend it any way you want, but if you ask me, if you had that kind of money to take a stranger on a luxury trip to Dubai, you're probably expecting to get a little something in return. Typically something that involves last night's taco platter and nary a toilet in sight. And if that's the case, you really haven't grown as a person. You just took on a different profession.
That's why I praise the Lord for prostitutes.
Wow. So after all these years, you have to tell me that about getting pregnant by another man? We couldn't separate for you. We couldn't have this conversation.
I mean,
before we got to this part.
Things happen, but
I had to find out you was pregnant.
You weren't taking
How low
care
of you?
of me.
That's low.
You were not. The bottom line is that you were not taking care of
I'm
me.
a hard-working man.
I get another man's arms.
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
For those of you keeping score at home, allowing a man unprotected entry into your diseased well of unrelenting guilt is just something that happens when you're cheating. In her mind, she's thinking the bigger deal is the fact that her faithful boyfriend wasn't providing her with the lifestyle she would need in order to prevent her from cheating. Her loyalty comes with a price tag, and if he's not willing to pay, then she's just gonna go back to the corner and find another John to pump for some money. This is the kind of thinking that only makes sense in her deluded brain and in the mind of her friendly neighborhood crack addict.
That's why I say prostitutes, prostitutes.
I'm a hard-working man. I gave you everything you asked for me. What more you want?
I'm in here splitting half of these bills. You're not taking care of me.
The rent is $4,000.
So? A real man could pay that $4,000 and then some. I should be in the hills somewhere.
Oh, really?
And I should be living in a second-class stateroom at my local space station. What's your point? A real man would have kicked you to the curb long ago, but I'm gonna give my man over here the benefit of the doubt and assume that he keeps you around because you know how to make some amazing cinnamon rolls. But just so you know, the amount of credit I'm giving you would make most American bankers look responsible by comparison. If you're living with someone, you're helping out with the rent. That's just how it goes. If you're not helping out with the rent, you're contributing something more than just an entitled attitude and boudoir antics that would be considered mediocre on the best of evenings.
Just listen to me rant for a moment. Why do men think that high standards are a bad thing? Or why do they think basic expectations are basically high standards?
That's a mystery.
Men aren't that complicated, Toots. Most of us just want a little peace and stability, not TikTok drama every single time something goes wrong. And the reality is you're gonna sit there and wolf down chocolate ice cream as you yammer on and on about your basic expectations, low bars, and men doing the bare minimum, but at no point will you actually give us a concrete definition of the bare minimum. Mainly because you have no idea what you want, and you want us to figure that out for you, and to that we say, sorry woman, we're too busy figuring out optimal blade setups for our bug out kit in the event of the zombie apocalypse. I'm going with a laser hatchet machete combo because they're practical and they're pretty awesome.
Hell yeah.
I cut things off with a man because he's still close to his ex. His ex from like a few months ago. Oh, but they live in different states. And she's a really important part of my life. Okay, she can be a part of your life. I will not be.
Well, bye.
Lady, you were never in a relationship. You were the backup plan. The guy you were seeing was secretly hoping his ex wanted to get back together and would have dumped you the second that became a reality. You were essentially a side chick by proxy. He was using you for dates and the occasional smash time, then he'd check in on his ex in between CSGO sessions with his buddies. And you'd do the same thing, but you would take away the smash time and replace it with endless venting sessions about how your ex was terrible to you, but you would still get back together with him if he ever asked you. So don't try to sell us the victim card, because frankly, we're not buying it.
And then he goes on saying that I have too high of standards. Literally, y'all, this bar is so far below hell that I don't know if I can even see it anymore. What's the point?
Man, you are one pathetic loser.
There is no point, you thick-headed broad. You could set your bar so low that you would hit rock bottom, and that would still be considered too high by most average men. And that's only if you actually let us know what that even means. You were hung up on a guy who was hung up on his ex. What does that say about you? It says that you are so pathetically lonely and desperate that you're willing to play second fiddle to some woman you've never even met. And somehow you're gonna act like you're morally superior when the guy you allegedly dumped wants nothing to do with you anymore. Your standards are fairly low, and you still managed to screw it up.
Single women are absolutely a threat to society. Well, like a threat to men, but one and the same. Like, men want us to believe that the longer women are single, we're gonna have to be more desperate. We're gonna be miserable. We're gonna die alone. We're gonna have a million cats. Like, they want us to believe that being single is the worst outcome. What actually happens when women stay single longer is we have higher standards. We refuse to settle.
Hey, don't forget about the boxed wine, because you're definitely going to need that when the men you desire slowly but surely no longer recognize your existence, as they find themselves being drawn to younger women who are more attractive, more fertile, and more agreeable than you. And in the odd event that you do find a man who's lonelier and more desperate than you, odds are you'll resent him to the point of alienation, and he'll leave you to your army of cats while he works out, eats better, and finds himself a younger, more attractive woman while you pickle what's left of your liver as you grow old and bitter on social media.
Like, we're not going to accept a man coming into our life, disrupting our peace if you're not making our lives better. Like, they're so terrified of that because women, we grow up reading magazines and from every source around us learning this is what you have to do to keep a man, this is what you have to do to get a man, this is what you have to do to be attractive to a man, to get a man to commit to you.
Wow. That's amazing.
Wow, magazine articles, huh? I've really met my match. If only I didn't learn how to be self-sustainable. If only I didn't know how to cook my own food and wash my own clothes and clean my own house and fix my own problems and take care of my own health, then I'd really be in trouble. Because you see, lady, men actually have to function in society, and we do that by physically working, not just sitting around at the local dentist office reading articles from back issues of Cosmopolitan.
Like, I talk in my videos all the time about, like, don't get into a relationship with a man for no reason. Like, you have to be intentional. You have to only get into a relationship with a man if he's actually making your life better. I feel so entitled to all women just wanting them. Like they don't have to do anything just because they're a man, and that's changing. And I think they're very terrified of what that means, like what they're gonna have to do to get women to want to commit to them. It's insane.
Oh, I'm so scared.
Actually, we're pretty okay with it. We've been bred since the dawn of time to be able to fend for ourselves. In fact, by posting this junk on TikTok, all you're doing is reaffirming everything we already know about modern women, and that it's more or less better to be alone. Because at least on our own, we can use our time to find peace, prosperity, and purpose without your incessant and meaningless demands on our time, energy, and money. Meanwhile, you're getting older, and your value is on a steady decline. If I were you, I'd be shaking in my boots. But if you're not, just wait a few years and then look in the mirror. Then you will truly know the meaning of terror. And that's gonna do it for today's video, gentlemen and gents. As always, if you find that my particular brand of comedy is bringing you to the brink of laughter, then why don't you scroll on down and click that like and subscribe button and ring the notification bell so we can give the good old-fashioned middle finger to the YouTube algorithm. Thank you so much for checking out the new video, and until next time, peace out, homies.